Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Moshe Katz, and I am proud to be the chair of the Milwaukee Jewish Federation. We are honored to be hosting this truly momentous occasion here at the Helfer Building of the Milwaukee Jewish community. This is also the home of the Jewish Museum Milwaukee, which is currently displaying "To Paint is to Live." It's by Eric Lichtblau-Leski, who actually created this art in the middle of living at Theresienstadt. I'd like to thank several people this morning, starting, of course, with our governor, Tony Evers. We cherish having you here with us, and thank you for choosing this specific location to sign this bill into law. Your leadership, your strong beliefs that we are stronger together when we look out for each other is more than commendable. Your public comments and actions about education and your focus on solving problems is clearly visible here today. Thank you, of course, to our birthday girl, Senator Alberta Darling.
Thank you. I'm 39.
To Representative John Plummer, who is also has a personal story that I'm sure we all would love to hear, and to Lisa Subeck. They're all here today, and we also offer you our personal stories. Senator Darling has represented the Milwaukee Jewish community for many years. She has personally visited Auschwitz and shared how that experience moved her to introduce this important piece of legislation. Representative Plummer, his father, served in World War II in the European sector and helped liberate the people from concentration camps. Representative Subeck had the opportunity to interview Holocaust survivors through a Jewish youth group in an effort to help record their stories. She has also personally visited a concentration camp in Poland. We thank you, Senator Darling, Representative Plummer, and Representative Subeck for sharing their personal stories and for all their work to ensure that the story of the Holocaust is never forgotten. This bill had 80 co-sponsors. Some of them are here today, including Representative Dora Drake, Senator Chris Larson. Thank you to all of them. Thank you to the Governor's Office, specifically to Amelia Neese, Advanced Director, and to Zach Madden, Legislative Affairs. Please join me in thanking all of them. Anne Frank once said, how wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. We here in Wisconsin no longer need to wait to do the right thing. Effective with the signing of this document, we will begin the process of improving the world. The work of the staff and the volunteers of the Holocaust Education Resource Center, the Wisconsin Jewish Conference, the Jewish Community Relations Council of Milwaukee, Jewish Federation, and all of those I've already mentioned here earlier, all those who drafted and passed this legislation, and our governor who will be signing it into law, all deserve our praise. It's been said that the survivors of the Shoah were and are undying optimists. It were as if they know that a time would come when their stories would be guaranteed to be told to the world. Their memories would be recalled, and our future would be better because of their endurance. Each of us must make a promise to remember those lives lost and share their story so that their lives weren't in fact lost in vain. Speaking on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Milwaukee Jewish Federation, I'm honored to stand here today to thank Anne Frank of blessed memory for reminding us of our responsibility. We hear you, Anne, and we remember you. We will promise to learn, to teach, and to improve the lives of Wisconsinites for generations to come. It's now my honor to call on Mark Miller, Chair of the Board of the Holocaust Education Resource Center, and Ava Zaret, a pillar in the Milwaukee Jewish community. She's a Holocaust survivor and the quintessential optimist, still filled with love, even after living nightmares beyond our imaginations. These two individuals represent the very core of why this bill had to be written and why it must now be signed into law. They are living proof of the responsibility we have to learn and then teach the hate that consumed Europe and destroyed the lives of countless millions, specifically more than 6 million Jews. Mark and Ava.
Hello, I'm Ava Zaret, and I am thrilled. and so thankful for the committee, to the Federation, to Alberta.
Thank you.
Thank you. And all the people who worked so hard on this bill. There is never one person who can take the credit. Thank you, thank you. I just want to say that I survived the horror of the Holocaust, but I have 4 children, 2 children, 4 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. And they're all waiting for this video. And the little one, the 10-year-old great-grandchild told me, Gigi, I don't know what to tell you. Congratulations. Thank you so much. And if I die, I'm going to die with a smile, because this is what happened. And we have to remember all the people who were killed, murdered, and all the people who died. So many survivors who, like Betty's mother, Rushka. And one more person that I have to say, Bev Greenberg worked so hard on this project, and she couldn't have been working harder. Wonderful person, but she cannot be here today. Thank you so much.
Well, I want to say, wow. This is landmark legislation. And I want to thank Governor Evers for his vision. I know that he's an educator, and his commitment to the Wisconsin young people is inspiring. Choosing Milwaukee to commemorate this landmark legislation is so meaningful to me. It makes me proud to be a Wisconsinite. I want to talk about the authors of this bill, Alberta Darling, Lisa Subak, and John Plummer. If not for them, this would never have happened. If not for them willing to work, this process started about 3 years ago, and it was a dream. It was a big idea that many people said, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. This could not happen. But our people, especially Bev Greenberg, would not let this idea die. She reached out to Alberta, and they worked together. They spent countless hours and countless meetings about how we could make this a success, that we could bring this to fruition. Now, like Moshe said, this might have started as a trickle, a few people, but it became a torrent, and then a tsunami of people committed, of all race and creeds, not just Jewish people. This is not a Jewish law. This is not a law about history. This is about the future of our young people. This is about who we can be and we will be. The process was difficult. We went to Madison. We talked to the legislatures. We went to their meetings. I have to say, the emotion in the room was incredible. There was not a dry eye in the place. The legislators asked questions, but they were so moved. And I have to say, I don't know about you, but I've never heard of a unanimous from all parties. And if you were worried about your legislators, think about that. When they all came together for the right thing. They might have their differences, but my goodness, 100% in the Assembly, 100% in the Senate, they all voted to ratify this legislation. Now, HERC has been at this for about almost 20 years, and we have reached out to tens of thousands of students and teachers. And I will tell you categorically, I don't care if you're the toughest son of a gun on the planet, when you hear these stories, Eva's story, or other people's stories, it changes you. You are a different person. You now realize that never again is not just for the Jewish people, it's for all humanity. This learning about the Holocaust makes you is the finest part of being a person. I have talked to so many people. Representative Plummer tells about his dad, a GI, a tough guy, who never talked about what happened in World War II, until one day they were sitting at a bar, a young man and his father having a beer, and he talked, and he wept. He never cried, ever. But he was one of the liberators of the camps, and he talked. And from that moment on, John Plummer was never the same. He never will allow this to ever happen again. The same with Alberta Darling. Alberta went to Poland with some legislators, went to the death camps, saw what was there, and from that moment on, she made it her mission that this will never happen again, never on my watch. And I hope when they're sitting in rocking chairs with me, they can say, I did something really great. And I want to make a commitment to everyone in this room, I'm not running away, that HERC will supply at no cost the content, world-class content, world-class websites that teachers can draw on, that they can teach the very best in the world about the Holocaust education. I want to work with the teachers directly, help them to provide the best possible experience for our young children, because they are the future. I want Wisconsin to be known as the epicenter for Holocaust education. I want our teaching of that to go out through the land and to be thought of as the Wisconsin plan.
Yay.
And I want everybody to come to Wisconsin to learn how it should be done. And I want everybody, whether it be all the people who I've not mentioned, who were a big part of this. I want the teachers, I want the children, I want the legislators to say, never again. Never again, no matter your race, creed, color, orientation. This is a universal bill. It is not a bill about Jews. And I hope that we can say that, and I can say to everybody that I'm from Wisconsin, and I'm the proudest guy in the room.
Oh, wonderful.
Sorry. I forgot to mention someone here that, I don't know. Well, needless to say.
Don't bother, don't bother. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Tough acts to follow, for sure. So, good afternoon, everybody. It is a pleasure to be with all of you today to sign this incredibly important bill for the education of our history and, frankly, our hope for the future. Thank you, Eva, for that great story and for being here to share that story also, because at the end of the day, Today is much more, so much more than the bill I'll be signing just in a few minutes, and you've heard that from every speaker so far. We're here today to ensure that a dark history doesn't escape accountability, not just to make sure we're teaching and explaining and helping understand, but to challenge disinformation, to reflect on the ways we must work every day to dismantle discrimination and hate on every level. This bill will affect generations of our kids in the state and bringing obviously increased awareness in our schools to the tragedies of the Holocaust, the pervasiveness of anti-Semitism and to this day, and as a result, cultivate a generation that is more compassionate, more empathetic, and more inclusive. And we know this is more important now than ever. 2019, the Anti-Defamation League recorded an all-time high of anti-Semitic incidents since they started recording in 1979. And we know that 2020 brought its own challenges for Jewish communities across the country with 2,024 anti-Semitic incidences, with schools and synagogues being targeted with 114 virtual hate attacks. Well, hate crimes are not new to our state or to our country. They've been on the rise, and we cannot allow them to be normalized. Hate, bigotry, and anti-Semitism have no place in Wisconsin. Through education, there's a hope for a better, more inclusive, more equitable, more compassionate Wisconsin for every family. So we're starting with the classroom. As mentioned before, 19 other states across this nation require and encourage education about the Holocaust for students, and I am glad today Wisconsin will be joining them when I sign this bill in just a moment. Senate Bill 69 requires a minimum of 2 lessons on the Holocaust and other genocides during some of our kids' most formative years in middle school and high school. It also requires that the curriculum be developed with the help of other states that are already doing it, but frankly, more importantly, with organizations like the folks here at the Holocaust Education Resource Center. Now, we know this is not the end-all, be-all. It's not a solution to eliminating hate, eliminating anti-Semitism in the hearts and homes of folks across the state, but it sure the hell is a good start. It's a step forward, not only learning from our past, but preserving the memories of the 6 million Jewish lives lost, a stride forward in educating the next generation of leaders and thinkers, and continues our fight in our march forward in the pursuit of a more just, inclusive, and equitable world. So with that, I will now sign Bill 69. If we want to have bipartisanship, this is the one to do it on, right? This is the one. So thank you, legislators, and thank you for all of those who have made this possible. And this will become Act 30.